Hi everyone, in this video, I'm gonna show you on how to solve limits using 8 properties. So let us have property number 1. So in property number 1, we have the limit of the constant wherein x approaches to a is equal to its constant. So in property number 1, if it is your limit is only a number, so your answer is also its constant. Property number 2, we have the limit of x wherein x approaches to a is equal to a. So in property number 2, if it is your limit is only x, your answer will be its approaches. So that is a. In property number 3, we have limit of quantity nx plus c, x approaches to a is equal to an plus c. That means your x will be substituted to the approaches of x. So that's why an plus c. Kaya pinalitan lang natin yung x ng approaches natin na a and then copy the n plus c. Property number 2, number 4 rather, of the limits. We have limit of x to the power of n, x approaches to a is equal to a to the power of n. So x will be substituted to the approaches of x. So that's why we have the answer of a to the power of n, provided that a sub n, a to the power of n exists. We have the property number 5. We have limit of square root of x. X approaches to a is equal to the square root of the approaches of x, which is the a. Okay. So, kung ano yung approaches niya, if it is your limit is x, that would be substituted to the approaches of x. We have the property number 6. We have the limit of f of x plus g of x where x approaches to a. So paghiwalayin lang natin yung f of x and g of x through its limits. So first, limit of f of x approaches to a plus limit of g of x where x approaches to a. That is the answer. We have the property number 7. We have the limit of f of x multiplied to g of x, where x approaches to a is equal to limit of f of x, where x approaches to a multiplied to limit of g of x, where x approaches to a. So same lang na pinaghiwalay lang natin yung f of x through its limits. So last property of limits, we have limit of f of x all over g of x where x approaches to a. So same like lang sa addition natin at sa ating multiplication, we separate it through its limit, wherein the answer is limit of f of x where x approaches to a all over limit of g of x where x approaches to a, provided that limit of g of x will not equal to 0. So why is it that the g of x is not equal to 0? It is because baka mag-undefined yung answer natin. Mag-undefined yung answer natin if it is your g of x here is 0. Okay, so let us have an example number 1 through its properties of limits. So we have example number 1. We have limit of 2 where x approaches to 3. So based on our 8 properties of limits, so example number 1 will be based on property number 1, which is the limit of constant where x approaches to a is equal to its constant. So limit of 2 where x approaches to 3, so our constant here is 2, so our answer is also its constant. So yan po yung answer natin. Number 2, we have the limit of 3 where x approaches to 1/2. So same like to number 1, it is based on the property number 1 wherein limit of constant where x approaches to a is equal to its constant. So that is, our answer is 3. So it is the constant, limit of its constant. Number 3, we have the limit of pi where x approaches to 0. So same like in the number 1 and number 2, pi is also a constant. So that's why our answer is a pi. Next, we have limit of, number 4, we have limit of 4, limit of x where x approaches to 5. So number 4 example is based on the property number 2 of the limits. So limit of x where x approaches to a is equal to its approaches. So in number 4, we have limit of x. So that is limit of x where x approaches to 5. So therefore, sa number 2, yung sagot natin is the approaches of its limit. Kapag x lang po yung ating limit, that is, the answer is also its approaches. So our answer here is 5 because 5 is the approaches of x. Okay, next, number 5, we have the limit of x where x approaches to 0. So same like in number 4. So if it is the limit is x, so the answer is the approaches niya. So our approaches here is 0. Number 6, so we have limit of x where x approaches to 2/3. So same like in number 4 and number 5. So limit of x, so that's why our answer is 2/3 or 2/3. Number 7, we have the limit of 2x minus 1 where x approaches to 4. So this is the limit of property limit number 3. So limit of 2x minus 1 where x approaches to 4 will be based on the property number 3. So we are going to substitute here the x to the approaches of x, which is 4. So we have 2 multiplied to 4 minus 1 because copy the constant 1. Then substitute or simplify, that is 2 times 4, that is 8, minus 1, that is 8 minus 1, that is 9. So our answer here of limit of 2x minus 1 where x approaches to 4 is 9.